Let's try this. All right. So I'm just gonna make this short and sweet because I'm just doing an experiment. Um, I just wanted to make a comment on this toxic masculinity thing. I mean, cannot we see by now what is going on? Can't we finally see what exactly is going on these days? What's going on with excuse me, I just want to put a generic view. Can't we see what's going on already? I mean, is it really that difficult for people to see what the hell's going on? Um, I mean, bottom line, I'm going to get to the bottom line, even because I don't know how much time I'm going to have on here. But bottom line, it's going to seem crazy what I really believe is going on. But there's some real demon infiltration going on uh, in this country and in the world. Okay, I believe that this is not just happening in the United States. This is happening primarily in the Western world. I believe there's a good chance that some kind of portal was opened up, a portal from the pit of hell, and possibly demons have been coming out from the woodwork or something like that. Who knows? Somewhere in the Western Hemisphere, and and we have people really believing crap like toxic masculinity. It's funny because it doesn't say that these things, like the article that I think in the New York Times, it came out today or the other day, and it doesn't talk about how masculinity can bring about toxic behaviors. Now, if it would have said that, everybody knows that. Femininity can also bring out toxic behaviors and maladaptive behaviors. But what it's talking about is that traditional masculinity, or so the way we've been traditionally raising our boys and our children, our boys, is toxic. It's not good for them. Okay, so they throw out all the positives and all of the appropriate um, attributes to masculinity, and they basically umbrella it all to get you to the point where um, you're confused as to which attributes are they exactly talking about, and they sideline their generalities. Ay, Dios mío. And they sideline their generalities with negative maladaptive attributes like bullying, like being a male chauvinist, and all of these abusive things that normally, things that happen due to like really bad things in the household, like somebody not having a father around, or maybe having an abusive father, or maybe alcohol involvement in the house, X, Y, and Z, you see. And so they align this with things like this. And it's like, it's unfair to do that. It's like, it's evil. Ay, Dios. It's evil to align traditional masculinity with these maladaptive behaviors, these things that we've always known are abusive. But I mean, hasn't the culture already seen? Haven't we not seen already the exaggeration of the femininity, the feminizing of men, and the blending of the sexes? The now teaching children that there's an X amount of different genders, and they're trying to teach this to children. I mean, if this is not a wake-up call, I mean, we've had too many wake-up calls as it is. I mean, this is just one of many of the craziness of the things that are going on. And like I said, my bottom line is that we're dealing with demon influence. This is the bottom line. Because whenever we end these conversations like this, we almost always end up scratching our heads wondering, but what is going on? How can people think so bizarrely? How can people be so bizarre and think such bizarre things, that things were like so different than they were just 15, 10, 20 years ago? Nobody would think about crazy stuff like this, but nevertheless, this is exactly the way people think these days, and they're pushing it, and the government is pushing it. Why? Because it's obvious that there's an attack on not only our country, we're under attack, but we're also under attack in our morality, which in times past has always been aligned with Christian principles. Okay? And so they're trying to erase that. They're trying to, little by little, get rid of those things and to invent new moralities, new so-called moralities, quote unquote. And they're trying to add them. And it's so schizophrenic because, you know, in a very moralistic, in a relative, morally relativistic existence and culture, to then come and to decide that, okay, this is what's moral and what's good and what's not. Obvious, if it's relative, then how can you call it good? Because it's inconsistent. You're inconsistent because then you're calling, you know, rape and murder and all of this stuff, you're calling it, you're saying that it's relevant. So then how, if you're saying that it's relevant, then you're not the person to make a solid judgment as to what's right or wrong, because you're also espousing relativism. Okay, so this is the nonsense and the bizarro stuff that's going on and that's been being taught to our young people. And there's got to be a massive, and I'm happy in a sense, because has been a huge, massive exodus out of the public school system. And the universities, everybody already knows that the universities aren't teaching anybody anything. And so, you know what, there may be a part 2 to this talk, to this commentary. Okay, I wanted to just throw that out there. Anybody who's passing through, I don't think I caught any biters or anybody. I don't think I caught anybody, but I may bring this up again. I might do another video of this in this conversation, and of course you can always leave me a message. Okay, until next time, God bless.